and for us as TINC to be able to represent Turkey on the Network for Excellence platform. Well, as we know, excellence is about many things, but as the network has its core, internationalization is one of the main pillars of excellence. And current research indicates the advantages of collaborative knowledge creation. And that way of culture, by way of which culture of learning. And moreover, substantive and widespread research has also shown active and collaborative teaching methods increase student learning and vocational skills. We are at TINC, Technology and Humanity Colleges in Turkey, have developed our own diploma program, which focuses on ICT skills, but with an entrepreneurial mindedness. And we believe an ICT-based collaborative training that incorporates online collaborative learning solutions for vet education will be transformative. And our proposed solution to such a field of vet education is to develop a modern approach to professional education, especially related to technical knowledge. And changes in our environment related to the digital revolution, the change of production methods, and the availability of better quality open educational resources force a change of approach to the education of technical subjects. And new skills and competencies are needed in the current labor market. How are we going to share those skills across the borders? This is what we really need to sit down and think about. And we believe the concept of collaborative learning should be the instructional use of small groups so that students work together to maximize their own and each other's learning. And at TINC, we have an online learning platform that we are more than happy to share with everybody, free of charge. This is something that I wanted to share with you today. And we have a platform, a learning management platform, and educational content that can be used by the other ENEs across the ETF network. And our dedicated ICT solution integrated with the e-learning platform supports collaborative learning, positive interdependence, individual accountability, face-to-face, and online promotional interaction. These are all the things that are really important for collaborative skills and group processing. And we believe there are many advantages of collaborative learning, which can be categorized as to be of social, academic, or psychological advantage. And these are, they enhance problem-solving skills, inspire critical thinking, improve social interactions, and support diversity. They aid the development of self-management skills, development of oral communication skills, and they foster the development of interpersonal relationships. Because as the ETF shows, building a network and sustaining a network, a quality network, where there is positive interaction on both sides, can very much increase interaction and learning. So these are all the tools that we believe in, and I would like to thank you for the time that you've given me.
Thank you very much, Zainab. Thank you very much. So je vois que Aïcha est de retour. Aïcha, vous êtes là?
I can see that Aïcha is now connected. Aïcha, can you hear me? Yes, I'm here indeed. Can you hear me? Hello?
I cannot hear because of my interpretation. I will. Aïcha, do you hear me? Tu m'entends maintenant?
Donc
Aïcha, can you hear me?
Bonjour.
Well, I can speak either. Hello, Aïcha.
Bonjour. Est-ce que vous m'entendez?
Oui, très bien. Maintenant, c'est bon.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes, I hear you really well. Yes, I just needed to make a technical adjustment. Well, I put the question already to Gabriela from the ministry in Serbia. And so here's the question for you. I consider the centers of excellence as too isolated, in my humble opinion, in the partner countries, it is difficult to generalize these coves. Sometimes they are just flagships, but they don't percolate. There is no trickle-down effect. So, my question is, how can we turn the coves into something else than just a pilot project, and how can they have a real effect in the countries where they have been implemented? Well, thank you very much, Abdelaziz, and thank you very much for ETF to give me this opportunity to speak today. Now, in Tunisia, we launched a reform in 2016 of vocational training. We have now an updated framework for the promotion of vocational training. This new framework means that they are better adapted, vocational training centers are better adapted to the labor market and to the region where they operate. We want to work mainly on the development of a network of entrepreneurial partners. The idea is to bring together players from the private and the public sector and to launch PPPs. We want to foster an ecosystem fostering skills. We also want to work together with researchers and develop partners with important socioeconomic players. Now, all of this will be done in order to develop skills and to implement excellence. Innovation is at the heart of what we want to do, and this is going to bring about a change of how vocational training is perceived. Now, this year, we're going to take stock of what this network has achieved. We are going to launch a survey with the centers who are pilots in this scheme. And we want also to launch a label of the enterprising centers, which is putting stress on the learning of entrepreneurial skills, which are proving leadership. What the idea behind this is to have a center that is closer to the working of a company, something that is modeled on the working of a company and moving away from traditional models of training, of vocational training. Now, those pilots are going to help with the preparation for the World Week of Vocational Training in November. What we would like to launch here is to set up a jury, and with this core team, we are going to be able to face challenges and to motivate, to inspire the other centers, encouraging to take part into this competition. What we want to highlight is the personal and organizational dimension of the vets. Now, today was a great opportunity to find out about other vets, and we are going to look closely at them because we think that there is a lot to learn out there. It is not always easy to implement those models in my country. Sometimes students themselves are reluctant to see change, but we are going to support a change in order to foster this network of enterprising centers, and we also hope to be able to count on a network of economic partners and of general skills development within the country. Now, I hope that I was able to express accurately the main aspects of this general vision that we have in Tunisia at the moment. And I would be very happy to share with you the outcomes of this labor project that will come to a close in November 2021. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Aisha. So I would invite the audience to put their question on the chat to the panelists, but also to ETF colleagues, and we will try to answer at the end of this session. So let's come back to for the second question to Kasim Khan from Kazakhstan. Kasim, floor is yours.
Уважаемые коллеги,
Dear colleagues, I thank you. I thank you that this discussion, it's a discussion of global education, questions of education, what's happening in the sphere of the VET in Kazakhstan. VET has been developing very actively over the recent years, talking about COVID. We are now setting up competence centers across the Republic in accordance with our president's instructions. Our vast program has been developed for our colleges, for the colleges of the Republic. It's called Zaslaman. To translate it into English, it will be young experts, young specialists, and these centers will be equipped with the sort of latest technology, and it will use the sort of the best practices. 50% of this work has already been done, and the 20 higher those centers will include representatives of 140 VET schools and 20 higher education colleges. We have been sort of a bit lagging behind until 2 years ago in that direction. But over the last 2 years, the development of VET has been boosted. Major large companies such as Bosch, for example, we have 2 resource centers where we work together with large national and international companies, and our students get work experience with those companies. For the last year, we've been working at the IT center, and we are now setting up the so-called Tonus 7 Center, which brings together experts from across the Republic to develop new programs, the best programs for high technologies. And I also will be happy if you're interested to talk about autonomy and about the freedom of choice, inclusiveness, because we are now offering our students to a chance to choose where they want to study. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Спасибо.
Mikola, are you in?
Здравствуйте, уважаемые коллеги.
Okay, perfect. So please, the floor is yours for the second question. Go ahead.
Я очень благодарен за
Good
предоставленную
afternoon, dear colleagues. I'm very pleased that I have this chance to be part of this discussion. Talking about the tools that we need to use in our cooperation. In my view and in view of my colleagues, what we need is the exchange of best practices and cooperation with other centers. We remember in the past we had this type of cooperation in 1990s when we worked together with the Federal Ministry of Germany. Back then we had the chance to study how excellence centers work in Germany, how they are equipped, what do they do. So what have we been doing in the Ukraine? We have adopted a strategy to promote vocational training in the country. At the moment, we are working on the new law. As for my educational institution, where I work, our main faculties are IT, construction, welding. As my colleague from Kazakhstan has already mentioned, we work with the big companies, with big manufacturers, and we train young experts for them, young specialists. In Ukraine, learners can use funds offered by the state and by regional funds, and students can apply to regional centers of vocational training.
Нашим детям, которые или работникам, которые приходят.
These regional vocational centers offer upskilling, reskilling to everyone, to young learners, to adults, to people who want to see a change in their career. So talking about the most effective ways of working together in the future, for us, the most important thing is digitalization of education, because unfortunately, due to COVID-19, we need to offer distance learning, remote learning to our students, and it would be very important for us, very valuable for us to exchange best practices with our colleagues on digitalization. Work-based learning is another area which would be of great interest for us in the future. Exchange of best practices and partnership with other centers would be the most valuable thing for us, and through the ENE we would like to see this work going forward. Thank you. What else? What else I would like to mention here? What we do locally, we organize meetings with experts from various regions, from various educational institutions. We also send our trainers to upskill them in other centers or vice versa. So this is another area of work which matters to us today. We try to respond very quickly to needs and demands of the regional job market. As soon as we see new areas, new demands, we try to respond very quickly. Now we can see that there is a need for people who know how to work, how to install renewable power stations. So, and this is a new area for us. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. We are running out of time, so I will extend the second question to Gabriela and Aisha, but just I will give them only 2 minutes to answer, please. So Gabriela, how can we work better in the coming years?
Well, the capacity and the potential of our center should be best used, both within Serbia as well as by networking and through networking with other centers abroad. I will be very brief about what are the expectations from these centers. Each center of excellence must provide a young student or a pupil or somebody who graduated from a formal education the highest level of education. But the tradition of the 21st century is the speed within which the knowledge is being transferred. So I think that these centers should compete to see which center will fastest produce the standard of qualifications in order that the young person can end up at the job market as soon as possible. So our wish and desire is to ensure this speed and also some kind of a competitive atmosphere among these centers. So what is technology and what is the way in which the center will provide a young person the fastest transfer of knowledge? That's how we can compete with the technological development. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Gabriela. Aïcha, à toi, 2 minutes aussi pour nous dire comment on peut travailler dans l'avenir.
Aisha, you have the floor. What do you think? What is your answer to this question?
Moi, par rapport à notre cas en Tunisie, donc
oui,
on va miser.
Yes, absolument. Par rapport à notre pays ici.
On va miser principalement sur le partenariat avec les entreprises et nous avons entamé quelques expériences pilotes dans ce sens par le montage de plateformes entre un centre de formation et une grande entreprise dans un secteur donné pour développer des compétences en fonction des besoins de l'entreprise. À part les qualifications à la carte en fonction des besoins et qui peuvent être réalisées dans des courts temps, c'est-à-dire sans passer par un cursus très lent pour un peu permettre aux jeunes de s'intégrer dans le marché du travail le plus rapidement possible. Pour nous, ce partenariat, c'est crucial pour que le centre lui-même puisse un peu développer ses compétences en matière, surtout compétences techniques des formateurs et la rénovation de ses équipements, son matériel au niveau du centre de formation avec bien sûr la collaboration des entreprises concernées.
Okay, thank you very much, Aisha. So I cannot see questions for the time being. So I will move to the live Mentimeter poll. So and I will invite you to click on the link that will be made in the chat. And so now we are addressing the same question by the audience. So you can see that there is a link in Mentimeter. Please click on the link to see the question and to answer the question. So the first one will take 1 minute to do. We have 3 questions for you, 3 set of questions. This is the first one. So which are the 3 most relevant thematic dimensions for cooperation in the framework of ETF network of excellence? So here you need to select 3 areas, please. So, and then you will see the second question, which are the most relevant cooperation tools, modalities of ENE services for your center of excellence or country. And here you will see that you have the option. So please select by priority the ways that they are more relevant for your center or your country. And then submit. And we are giving you a third option if you don't find the tool in the proposed tools that we have done in second set of question. Here, this is an open question that we will also ask you to do. So here, you please just write a word or a small sentence, please. So I think we can already see here that the first, we are already at the third. Sorry, I missed the first one. Okay, so the first one is partnership with other center of excellence. This is the most relevant tools and modality, and followed by peer learning activities tool. So can we see the cloud now, please? Okay, here other ways to collaborate. We can see partnerships, mainly, but also mobility in any meanings, creativity, inspiring practices, and distance learning, know-how sharing, etc. So, of course, we will share all these findings with you afterwards. So, and now we still have 30 seconds. So I would like now to conclude this session. Thank you very much. So I would say that my takeaway from these 2 days is that the excellence should be without borders. So at all levels. So borderless in terms of territories, from local to regional to national or even transnational, such as in this case, the case of this cross-country event. Borderless in terms of participation, and so multi-stakeholders and multi-levels, and COFs are models for participatory and multi-level governance. And finally, borderless in terms of innovation, inclusiveness, etc. And here also we have seen so many good practices with our members in this borderless cross-country event. So I am sure that this is the beginning, and that this network will flourish and become a reference and a knowledge hub for excellence in skills development area. Thanks again for the panelists and for the audience, and back to you, Daria.
Thank you so much, Aziz, and thanks a lot to Aziz guest speakers. It was a very interesting conversation, indeed, showing this geographic scope also of the network. I apologize with all participants for some technical issues which we have encountered. I've been told that the bell that I was ringing, no one could hear it, but I congratulate with the speakers because they were extremely amazing in keeping the time themselves. So I was ringing my own bell and just listening myself. Sorry for that. It was a great job anyway, all of you and Aziz. So now we're approaching the end of the conversation. I kindly ask my colleagues, the chat moderators, to share in the respective chats in all languages the link to the feedback form. It's very important for us that you click on that link and you fill it and you let us know what you think of this event so that we can develop better events in the future and hopefully very soon develop events in which we can meet in person. That's what we all hope and aim for. There was a question in the chat about the slides. We will be uploading the slides of these 2 days on open space. I also ask here my colleagues from the chat moderators to put the link to the ETF open space in the chats. As of tomorrow, you will be able to access the slides. Plus, on the European Training Foundation website, you will find today a report of yesterday's conversation, and on Monday you will find a report of today's conversation. So go there in case you'd like to read it again or if you missed some bits. And now I officially launch the closure of the event, and I'd like to give the floor here to my colleagues, Jose Manuel Galvin Arribas and Manuela Prina from the European Training Foundation. 15 minutes to close, and then we're all for lunch. Over to you. Jose Manuel? Please try to speak. You're muted, Jose Manuel. We cannot hear you. It still looks like you're muted. I mean, you're not muted from our side. Maybe if you can check your mic and you can give the floor to Manuela in the meantime. Manuela?
Yes, do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, okay, I then start and then I'll give the floor to Manuel. From my side, closing the event of those 2 days, I would say that we said that this was the second part of the launching conference of the ENE network. We discussed yesterday about areas of work that are already ongoing since last year, and today we put the attention on the future and on areas of work that are emerging as important for the cooperation. I think there were many things that have been confirmed out of the moments of surveys that were done in the 2 days, including the focus on partnership, on sharing practices, on working together. And I think there is a lot that it's here present in the network. I told you yesterday the agenda was extremely rich. And I think, I mean, at least for me, I left each session wanting to know more and discussing more. And this is what we will do in the coming weeks. We will definitely get back to you, because the idea is that even if we cannot travel physically, we want really to focus in the coming months to get to know each other more. So we will definitely organize more opportunities for exchange in smaller groups in different geometries, being it countries or being it sectors or being it thematic, through the entry points we have discussed during those 2 days. So I would say that really the launch of the network is done, and it's very successful. We are growing, and also this morning we received a request from another 30 centers to join in the network. So every day, really, there is more interest in joining in. This is a network with a lot of competencies, a huge richness of practices and of excellence, which is already happening on the ground. And I think we have now to really continue and to do more together. So to really identify in a specific terms, what are we doing and how we can cooperate around these three clusters of partnerships, tools, and peer learning. So from my side, coming to the end, I think we have confirmed that excellence is really very much something that looks into results and looks into an attitude, which is really trying to do the best, listening to the need of society, to the needs of the community, and to the needs of individuals. And I'm really happy to be part of a network where so much excellence is not only in the actions, but also, and in particular, I think primarily in the people who are part of the network. From my side, and we'll see then if Manuel is unmuted, I would like to thank all of you for your time, your contribution. I look forward to meet you in smaller groups so that we can really have a contact. I think the breakout rooms were short, but it was nice to have a conversation more directly with some of you. And I thank, of course, all the ETF team that was part of this double launch in December. And now I think we have a lot of work to do, and I'm happy to be part of this adventure. Manuel, let's see if he...
Can you hear me?
Yes, he's back.
Wow.
So back to you, my dear.
Thank you very much. Actually, Manuela, you anticipate, let's say broadly, what I had to say to let's say, close down and conclude this fantastic 2 days of work. And first thing I want to say is to share a memory with you. I think none of my colleagues, because, you know, Yorgos, with the leadership and fantastic guidance of Yorgos, Stefan, Julian. Also, I want to mention one of our colleagues that we miss, which is Helmut, which was at the beginning of this group, also discussing Pirita. I think the all members, no, the vintage members, we never, I'm sure my colleagues also would have think the impact of that discussion on which we started to discuss to see a network as a potential way of guiding and conveying the message of the excellence through our partner countries and beyond. So I think this is the first thing I wanted to say. So we are so proud and we feel privileged and so pleased to be with you and to have this fantastic family on which on these 2 days we witness that we are here because we want to learn. We are humble people. And I'm reminding now what Joao said at the beginning of these 2 days. We are people that want to learn every day with our strengths and weaknesses. We can bring all of us something new to build together, because also we are curious people, as we said at ETF, and we are people that love vocational education to be excellent and lifelong learning, because this network is about lifelong learning. So this is, I think, the main message. We are here for learning and for collaborate. I think we hear in all of our statements during these 2 days these messages. So just what you said in this slide is what was the agenda about. So we are implementing. Yesterday, we shared with you what we are implementing for 2020. So in the areas of self-initiative in work-based learning, autonomy and public-private partnerships, our key and strategic tool, self-assessment tool, and the nice partnership we have in the area, in particular of digitalization with Skillsman. skills in manufacturing occupations. The new thematic approaches we tested yesterday, today, which are mostly based for this year in our work program in entrepreneurial center of excellence, entrepreneurial dimension, and social inclusion, and going green and digital. These thematic strands we will try to improve with you during this year. But our priority also is consolidate and the network, is consolidate with you. For that, Manuela, now is consolidate your participation and your engagement, and but also with quality and continuous improvement. We want to improve all of us. These 2 days we confirm that we want to improve, and we want to do it with quality of our relationship, with quality of our exchanges, with quality of our products. And we indeed want to know you better and deep, and forging a strength working cooperation and partnership with you, among you, and we try to facilitate. So, and these 3 key products we confirm in these 2 days: that partnership tools, peer learning, partnership tools, partnership are our key motive and core action for us. Second slide, please. So just to give you a flavor in the second slide, in the different thematics, so in COBES and work-based learning, self-assessment tool, COBES autonomy, and partnership with Skillman, we are work in progress, and we will deliver several products during the year, which will be finalizing a work-based learning study presented yesterday in work-based learning, doing some peer learnings in Latvia, coaching better schools in work-based learning, and integrating also the career guidance dimension. In the self-assessment tool, we will permanent updating and analyzing data, because the network is growing. So before this meeting, we have 144 COBES, 8 countries, and 6-7 African countries. But Manuela already announced that the family is growing. So, and we are very happy for this. But the self-assessment tool will have to be used to continue identifying the needs of development of our network. We will also do in the self-assessment tool one evaluation report, and we will launch what we call, yesterday my fantastic colleague Julian presented the platform of practices. We will test this issue with you. So we will be all trying to be learning there, and also in the situation of COVID, we will try to do it online with you. Despite we have in the pipeline, for example, in public-private partnership and autonomy study we present today, also we plan there, and a study visit in Finland, which hopefully can do on site. But in the meantime, we will also try to program doing it online. In the partnership with the Skillman, indeed, we are continuing our program in knowledge sharing webinars that also are combining work-based learning dimension, and joint expert teams with a special attention to digitalization. The new dimensions, these 2 days, and in particular today, you help us a lot to shape concepts and to improve our conceptual approach done up to now. So that the 3 sessions, I thank the people in the network that participate, and all that also was in the discussion in the working groups, because we want to shape, let's say, and focus in the best way the conceptual approach, but also we want to launch some the initiatives doing partnerships, in particular what we call also partnership for the time being in ENE is gathering a number of countries between you, and we can pass to the next slide. And because the entry point, the key entry point that we already know is that the thematic entry point, the thematic and the sharing thematic knowledge among center of excellence, among you, it works very well, and it's key. So the all initiatives and new initiatives are key themes for continue doing partnerships in the network. But we want to explore also co-creation, as Manuela said. We want to explore co-creation between countries, clustering also some of you in sectors, because there are thematic entry points, for example, as digitalization of going green, which will require also a smart partnerships with some sectors on which COVES you are operating, you know, but also connecting the dots in the international panel. We realize with international partners and European partners, we realize that also international partners and European partners are key for mobilizing the knowledge that also can benefit our ETF partner countries. So we want to also explore this dimension of further engagement of European and international community in our network, and we are pleased and open to it. So, and just final praise, so you please continue, because also, you know, this is an educational network at the end, international one. We are composed by network of institutions, some also the appointed, and of course with the super important role of the national authorities for appointing you, and we want to engage national and regional authorities also, and of course the social partners. But of course, you have to continue doing your working groups and your project in your institutions, and we hope you also inform. We hope also improve our digital platform of ENE. So you should continue identify your training and learning needs and development, and engaging in dialogue in your country, public and private, to also validate and cooperate. Validating this identification and communication need, but you have to also make the individual effort from your country, for your center, for your institution, to convey to the ENE what you need, and to try to help us each other, because indeed we are here for learning from each other. I think this is the key message of these 2 days, and is the best message we have for the time being, and I think is one we want to do. Learning from each other. I want to just close, and I cannot close without thanking all of you, but in particular, I want to thank my colleagues team. In particular, the first is Loreta Calcaño. I want to thank her very much, but also I want to thank Daria, all you intervene in the agenda, Daria, Manuela, Joao, Florian, Julian, Daniela, Liger, Florian y Stefan, Ilse, Agris, Sanarbeck, Filippo, two Filippos, Luis de la Torre, Floriana, Najib, Mervi, Cristina, Yelena, Vera, Eva, Pirita, Nina, Nino, Oleg, Anastasia, Susan, Cristian, Mariajo, María Victoria, Dana, Elin, Mustafa, Lida, Joel, Paolo, Julian, Jean-Paul, Bodegin, Anna, Alexis, and of course our always guiding colleague, Yorgos. Thank you, Yorgos. Aziz, Mijola, Zeynep, Aisha, Kashiman, Gabriela, and other colleagues from the ENE team, who are Michela, Gary, and also the team that help us to do this fantastic 2 days of work, which is Simona, Anna, and I forget somebody for sure, but forgive me. We are a network, as we are a big network and a big family. That's all from my side. You will hear our news, because we want to make a calendar of meetings with you. Sometimes will be bilateral, country, March, April, and that's all for the time being. And just thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Spasibo большое. Tante grazie e muchísimas gracias a todos.
Thank you very much, Jose Manuel and Manuela, for the closing remarks. If I may add to this, I'd like also to thank Mattia, Francesco, Roberta, more particularly from the technical team, for their great support. Thanks a million, everyone. And as we like to say, and as we said at the end of last event, this is not a goodbye, but it is an arrivederci. Goodbye.